Uhuru. Fist up. Fist up. Fist up. Uhuru, touch one. Uhuru, I'm so excited to be in this place today. We have a dynamic program for you guys. It's a continuation of last week. Last week we gave you some studies, some skills, should I say, to help you survive and live for us food security. This week we speaking about economic development and also security for the African nation. Uhuru, so I'm so excited for this rally. But once again, I greet you with Uhuru. We understand that Uhuru means freely, a freedom, and we understand that we should greet you with freedom on our minds day and night until we actually win it. Welcome to this beautiful place that Black has built. We call it Akwaba Hall. Akwaba translates to welcome. You is always welcome to the house Black has built. I am Westbrook, the president of the St. Louis branch of InPDUM, which is International People Democratic Uhuru Movement, which is led by the African People's Socialist Party. And it is a mass organization which was formed in 1991 and is the leading organization for the struggle for bread, peace, and Black power in the 21st century. Join us today at epdum.org/today. I'm sorry. And join us on our Burning Spirit TV or our Facebook page. Uhuru. Without further ado, let's stand and join in with our African Nation fight song. Uhuru. Uhuru. Uhuru.
Strong. be in vain. We are winning. Keep up the work in Marcus Garvey's name. We are winning. Independent and free is what we will be. We are winning. Africa will bask in our victory. We are winning. Long live the liberation of our African nation. Freedom to organization. Socialist world of creation. 1 billion strong. Yes, we are one. We are winning.
Yes, we are. We are winning. We win. Africa. E2022. Nation. Africa. Sister. Sister. Uhuru, we are winning. We fight, we win. Uhuru. I don't know for what, but this week that did something to me. Uhuru. Our community rallies are held every Sunday at 3 p.m. to 5. You can also view them on. I'm sorry, you can have a seat. I'm sorry. Let us speak, guys. You all can have a seat. I'm sorry. But our community rallies are held every Sundays from 3 to 5 p.m. You can also view them on the Burning Spirit News YouTube channel and Facebook. Today's theme is skills for self-determination, moving the theory to practice. Chairman Omali Yeshitela wrote his first book, The Political Report to Our Fifth Congress, where he addressed at length the significance of cadre development for our party. More than anything, we must give the greatest significance possible to the task of development party cadres, thank you. By this, we do not mean simply filling the ranks of the party with new forces or have a sterling political education classes that will simply allow them to memorize texts that can be regurgitated on command. We mean that members of our party must be prepared to lead in a practical term. This certainly means that they should be able to lead their particular areas of work for which they might be responsible. Their leaders must give them complete understanding of this work. But they must also be able to lead the masses in their communications. Okay, let me read that over again. But they must also be able to lead the masses in general in their communities and on the campus, in prisons, and at their work spot. They must be able to do this everywhere they at, in other words. They must be one to a love for the revolution and an undenying love for the party. That is the instrument through which the revolution will be pursued and won. We win significance of the cadre's development for our party. These intensives are organized in a progressive manner. They are meant to move us from theory to practice. And today, we will cover the importance of economic development and supporting the Uhuru movement, economic development institutions, which develops the independent African community. And we also will be coveting my specialty, security. Because we know in these times, security for ourselves is important. And the community that we are in, it's important for us to be conscious and have a security mindset. And to have a security mindset, my fault. But before we continue on with the agenda, right now we will have our regular scheduled political education. We're dealing with point 5 out of the RNDP, so I have my pleasure to bring up our Secretary Kumba. Touch one, touch one, touch up. One Africa, one nation, one nation. That's what it's about. This point is point number 5. It comes from the Revolutionary National Democratic Program of the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. And this is under applied African internationalism. That means that we put hands in the mix, in the fire to do the work, not just the theory. So point number 5, we recognize African internationalism, the revolutionary political theory of the African working class as the worldview that correctly informs the struggle to end the colonial domination Africans suffer around the world. This has some subcategories to it from it. Point or letter A, capitalism is parasitic and imperialistic and has been from its earliest inception. B, historically, Africa contained not only great resources, but great civilizations. These civilizations and resources were and continue to be systematically attacked, raped, and exploited by imperialism. Not only the slave trade, but the rape of the continent of Africa itself is the cornerstone on which North America and European wealth rest. Number C, letter C. Parasitic capitalism provides the material basis for the white nationalism and racism of the white working class, which enthusiastically upholds and carries out U.S. colonial policies. It is also the material basis for the opportunism of the white left, which has historically sold out and betrayed the African anti-colonial struggle repeatedly throughout history. The white left itself, a product of the oppressor nation, is equally white nationalistic, parasitic, and opportunistic as the white working class population in general. In many instances, it has been more vicious and destructive to the Black liberation movement than overt white nationalist attack. Letter D, anti-colonial struggles led by the working class to overthrow the pedestal of imperialism are key to the destruction of imperialism, quite logically, right? Letter E, Africans in the U.S. strategically located inside current U.S. borders as a domestic colony are part of the worldwide African liberation struggle. We are not isolated or alone. And are the leading force against U.S. imperialism within. Letter F, and the final letter to this particular point. There cannot be a revolutionary struggle without a vanguard party of the Black working class and the participation of the masses of the people in the revolution under the leadership of such a party. So to kind of expound on it and work my way backwards, if you look at what this weekend was about, it's considered a mini intensive, but it's about applied African internationalism. And of course, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this last particular one, it says that letter F, there cannot be a revolutionary struggle without a vanguard party of the Black working class. Yes. And participation of the masses of the people in the revolution under the leadership of the party. So we are members of the African People's Socialist Party. And say, for example, yesterday we had great opportunities to do outreach and applied
Internationalism, and some of the forces are here and they will share some of their experiences. So one of the things that we did here locally, we went down, and I'm not going to give it all, but I just want to show how this is applied African internationalism. So we went down various places in the city, north side, and I just happened to be a part of the group that was at Soulard Market with a few of my comrades that I see here. So this was helping to build the independent African economy. So at Soulard Market, we had what is the Uhuru Pies, and that's under the whole institution of the Black Power blueprint. But this is practical work. So not only were we raising money for economic independent development for ourselves and to come back and develop the community, there also was the political and theoretical component. So we passed out information. We talked about what the Black Power Blueprint was about. We talked about what these Uhuru Foods and Pies was about. And we talked about why we were building and why we were doing it, what we were doing. And we can also point to this area and show the example in a real way what the applied African internationalism looks like. So there's always a theory, but we say theory and practice are connected. And if you got theory without practice, you got nothing. You understand? So theory guides practice. Practice informs theory. Is that clear?
It's clear.
All right, Uhuru. So the piece also does speak about how, capitalism is parasitic. And we can clearly understand how that is the case because we know that the foundation is what? It's a colonial mode of production under the slavery at first, you understand? So when they came to the continent of Africa in the 1400s and they stripped us from the continent of Africa and began more than 400 years of economic development with the slave trade, that laid the foundation for all the wealth of the land. You got the Chase Bank, you got Bank of America, you got Rothschilds, you got so many people, so many of these capitalist corporations and institutions in the United States. Foundation is seeped in our blood. As red as this carpet is, that's the color of the blood. That's how deep it is. Deeper than that. You understand? So they standing on that pedestal. Matter of fact, they wading in the blood water as we speak. But with African internationalism, what we come to do is change that contradiction. You understand? We got this thing that we say we come to negate the colonial apparatus. So then that's why you are in beautiful Aquaba Hall, because this is a building that Black built. Didn't wait for the city to come and say we're going to do it. The African People's Socialist Party came to the city of St. Louis during the Ferguson Rebellion in 2014 or what have you. Then boom, we're going to hit the ground running and ain't stopping, going to continue on. So if you need more information about that, do check out InPDUM. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the economic development, go to Black Power Blueprint, and you'll find also the Black Star Industries. So I don't want to take up too much more time, but Uhuru comrades, fist up.
Right. Uhuru. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. Do we have the video of Chairman Hands Off Reddit's queued up or no? Yes, sir. We had a video. Okay, well, I'm just want to know. Okay, well, we fit share the video of Hands Off Venezuela from our chairman, but right before that, we're gonna open up for discussion for the political education. Uhuru, the mic is open. Come on, Maurice, I know you got something for us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the front screen. My fault, brother. My fault, brother. Giants thinking about it.
Yeah, so we don't want to put Maurice on the spot if he ain't comfortable. But can I talk a little bit about your experience though? Just in terms of you coming to the city of St. Louis from Chicago, and you came to apply African internationalism in a practical way. You know about the movement, you've been around it, you're familiar with it, you have faith and understand that these institutions have done well and continue to do well. So this is just an example of someone, because we're international. So we aren't isolated. And of course, in that piece, it talks about in the fifth point, it talks about being international. And that so what does that mean? We globally, right? Absolutely, we globally. And understanding that as one Africa, one African people, this one African particularly came with our Midwest rep, Comrade Kabula, and was boots on the ground, as we like to say. So, I mean, I just appreciate his work. And I'm gonna give it up for him. It's a great example of someone who's using that have the right theory and practice in hand.
Uhuru. Uhuru. And I want to stand in solidarity and keep on picking on our young man. I'm joking. But he also was on that bus to Washington, D.C., and we had a great political education on the way there and back. And he didn't go to Washington, D.C. for a vacation. He was out there in the field working. Yeah, organizing and reaching out to the people. So Uhuru, I want to appreciate you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now, if we have, I think Kinga has something for us too.
Yeah, overall, I just wanted to appreciate the political education for today and really just the understanding that it says that we recognize African internationalism, the revolutionary political theory of the African working class as a world view, not just something that we, individually personalize, but as a worldview. And that it correctly informs the struggle to end the colonial domination that Africans suffer around the world.
That's right.
Because it's not racism, it's not just that white people don't like us, it's a system. And I think that the more we talk about and help deepen people's understanding that colonialism is the problem and it's a system. We were the first trade. We became we were the first capital that built this system. And in order for us to overturn this contradiction, we have to understand that colonialism is the root of the problem. And if we defeat colonialism, we will take power back into our own hands.
Uhuru. Hey, that's well said. Let's give a round of applause to our comrade. That's well said. I know we're gonna be dealing with economic development. So if we're dealing with economic development, we have to speak about colonialism. We have to speak about capitalism because we know that mode of production is what led us to the disparities we are in now, led us to this place that we are in now, where we have to speak about food securities, where we have to speak about our livelihood. So down with colonialism, capitalism must die now in order for you and our future to have a beautiful life, beautiful life. Right now, if we have the video queued up, before we play that video, we know that it's a spot in our hemisphere that's richer than for us oil per se. Is richer than Saudi Arabia with oil reserves. We know that Hugo Chavez originally back in February of '92 tried to win, do a military coup. He wasn't successful. They locked him up, but I forget what month. But in 1999, when he was released, shortly after he ended up becoming the president of Venezuela. But when he became the president of Venezuela, he nationalized the oil companies, etc. We've been having this, not we, America have been attacking and having this fight with the Venezuela government and people since George Bush days. They did a couple of failed coups under Hugo Chavez, but Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, we know that 2012 he became the vice president. When Hugo Chavez died in 2013, he took over the Venezuela. But secretly, America been positioning itself to overtake its oil by any means, either political, get a president in that support you, which they did do within a failed coup. What was that, 19, I think, when they had elections, 1917, when they had elections, but because the opposition didn't like the turnouts, the opposition deemed it illegal. And that's when America and the West start back into opposition against Nicolas Maduro, and we've been in this mess since then. But now they're using this pretext as these drugs boats to actually invade. But we say hands off. We say not only hands off Africa, but all oppressed communities of the world, including Venezuela. Venezuela did not stand alone. Hands off they oil, hands off they people, hands off Nicolas Maduro. That being said, we have a statement queued up from our president, from our chairman. Then following that video, we're gonna have a statement from our international president, Lukede. Uhuru, lights please.
Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who's on the ground right now in St. Louis, Missouri. I just want to take a moment to introduce and appreciate Chairman Omali Yeshitela because, part of what we understand, at least for me and, in the African People's Socialist Party, and as a, follower and learner of African internationalism is the question of colonialism. Chairman Omali Yeshitela, who's on the ground right now in St. Louis, Missouri. I just want to take a moment to introduce and appreciate Chairman Omali Yeshitela because, part of what we understand, at least for me and, in the African People's Socialist Party, and as a, follower and learner of African internationalism is the question of colonialism. And, we can look at all of these struggles that we are seeing, as looking at the UN, ICE, even at these as forms of the state, of the colonial state, the military occupation, these wars, the ideological war, narco-terrorism, all of this is happening under the colonial mode of production. And to help deepen that question for us and to build upon what we've heard today and to stand in solidarity with that, I do want to turn it over to you, Chairman, and appreciate you for being on with us and want to salute your leadership in this anti-colonial struggle. Uhuru.
Uhuru. First of all, I really would like to express my deepest, most profound appreciation for all of the presenters who have preceded me to the Hands Off Uhuru Latin America front that we feel is extremely important to build. And in this event is expressing itself and really trying to contribute to the consolidation of what we will call, have been talking about in terms of an international anti-colonial human rights movement that covers the globe. But we have a great start with the Latin America front that we are already developing. I think that I'm so appreciative of what Comrade Benjamin has just laid out. So much of helping us to understand the nature of the social system that we're dealing with and the kind of contradictions that are articulated throughout this social system. And of course, all of the comrades from Venezuela who have spoken up to now, talking about the terror that has been waged, and make no mistake about it, while the possibility of some kind of military strike, as Comrade Jesus has just talked about, and as compañera Andreina Chavez has spoken of, some kind of action is a real possibility in terms of attacking Venezuela. On the one hand, they've already killed more than 70 people, just murdered them. And that's all it was, murder. Yeah. And it was murder because they had the ability to do it, not because there was any legitimate rationale for it. They just had the ability to do it. And this is the history of the creation of this social system and even this arena that we characterize as the Americas. So they've already killed so many people. there's a good possibility, and I've heard other so-called experts on this matter talk about the possibility of targeted murder of particular leaders inside Venezuela. And Comrade Jesus and Andrena wanted us to be aware that no matter what happens in that regard, the Venezuelan revolution will live on. And that's probably true. I mean, I really believe that to be the case. But I think that part of what we are witnessing is a form of counterinsurgency that includes terror. And the objective with the battleships and the U.S. troops and the announcement that there are CIA agents in Venezuela now with the objective of overturning that government, the $50 million bounty. All of this is terror, part of a counterinsurgency that utilizes every form of struggle that includes things like ideological and information and economic warfare, and of course, ultimately, military war. This is what counterinsurgency is about. That's what we're looking at. So I think I just wanted to recognize that, and I think it's also important for us to recognize that America itself is a settler colony. And much of what we're looking at in the world is a world that has been created by settler colonialism. When you look at all of the Americas, you're talking about, and not just the Americas, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United States, settler colonies, and they've become extraordinarily wealthy as a consequence of what they've taken from those whom they've colonized and the lands that they have stolen. But the other thing that is important to recognize is that when you have a settler colonialism, there's no respect for the land. There's no respect for the territory. They have no history, no relationship to it. The Venezuelans do. The indigenous people in the concentration camps that they call Indian reservations have a relationship. They're for generations, going back more longer than what America has existed, more than what many of the European states, most of the European states have existed. There's a relationship to the land. There's a relationship to the animals on the land, to everything on the land. But they have, since there is no relationship, by the settlers, they destroy it all, kill the buffaloes, destroy the environment. It doesn't matter because they have no history with it. So they're settlers with no respect for the land and the people. And they can't have respect for the people because the existence of the people actually constitute evidence of the crime of colonialism. And so to have the people there is to be a manifestation of a criminal society. And I call it criminal society, and it's a misnomer because it's not a crime what they have done to us, because the colonizer makes the law and says what is crime and what is not crime. So it's not a crime in that sense, because colonialism itself is illegitimate. So the colonizer makes the law, but the system is illegitimate. So they make laws that oppress and kill people and make war on a regular basis. And I just think it's really important for us to acknowledge that, and to acknowledge also that America is a settler colony. Yes. There's no redeeming qualities that you can find here. And so we're looking at a society, a global society that has its immediate origin in the theft of the land and resources of the people, slavery, genocide, and what have you. And its existence is based on what it steals from other peoples, other lands, other countries. And sometimes you have like a settler colony, and in the United States, you have an internal colony on top of that. Same thing is true, and like in New Zealand, Australia, you have internal colonies within these settler colonies. And so they steal the labor, the value of the labor of the people who they have colonized inside these settler colonies, et cetera. So they have tremendous amounts of wealth that they have accrued through this process. And so every struggle for people to be free is a threat to that wealth, a threat to what they have stolen, a threat to their very existence as a settler colony. And they are extraordinarily desperate And the thing that makes them desperate is because they have no history, no relationship to the land other than this recent period of stealing it and what have you. But they have no real enduring relationship to Europe, where they've come from. So it's like a really treacherous kind of place that they're located in that creates a tremendous amount of desperation. So most of them have no relationship to France, to England, or even to Spain. Even though Spain, the Spanish colonialism, as has already been talked about, there are more people who speak Spanish outside of Spain than in Spain itself because of Spanish colonialism. Same thing is true of French. More people, and the same thing is true of English. So all of us speak English, French, Spanish, and whatever, not because we are English, French, or Spanish, but because those are the ones who colonized us. Those are the ones who stole everything, and sometimes they stole our names, our culture, and everything that we've got. So you have a situation where you have, we believe in the existence of a society that is comprised of an economic base. And in this world, an economic base, and in this country, it's an economic base on slavery and colonialism. And make no mistake about that. It's slavery and colonialism. I know that the fairy tales that you read that they call history, especially within the United States, makes an argument against that. But slavery and colonialism is the foundation, is the economic base of this society. And any society is comprised of an economic base. You can't have a society without an economy, without an economic base, but without a way that the society accrues what it needs to feed, clothe, and house itself, what it needs to produce and reproduce life. But along with an economic base, there is also another component that I think is really important for us to understand, and that is the superstructure. And the superstructure is the ideas. It's the institutions like legal institutions and things like that we see. The superstructure is what creates the nigger. The superstructure is what creates the wetback. The superstructure is the thing that has come about to deny the reality of the existence, the legitimacy, the humanity of those who from whom it steals all of its resources. And that's why what you see is what should normally be a great unity between the workers of the world, if you will, workers in the United States and workers in Europe and the African and colonized peoples around the world. It doesn't exist like that. Because the real class question is concentrated in the colonial question. And it's the position that's taken on colonialism. It's unity with the colonized peoples of the world that will give identity to the true workers of the world. Because the reality of is that what we're looking at now and what is happening with the U.S. and Venezuela is an attempt to hold back history. It is an attempt to lock history in this particular place. It is an attempt to prevent the future from occurring. And the future that we are looking for, the thing that makes progress in the world is for freedom, is for liberation. And it's a future of the past, of slavery, of colonialism, and what have you. And those who are trying to hold that in place, to lock us into the place of slavery and colonialism, they will do anything necessary, anything possible to make that happen. Comrade Andrena was talking about how it's so important for us to tell the truth about Venezuela. Tell the truth about Palestine. And I do believe we should use every medium that we have to do that. But more importantly, I think what we have to do is tell the truth about the United States. And the United States, even as it's talking about killing people who are supposed to be criminals in Venezuela, they have put National Guard through African communities in this country. They have had meetings with the military and the head of state of this country in the United States has talked about using the African communities in this country as training grounds for federal troops, violating even their own laws in order to do that. They're supposed to be fighting crime by putting federal troops in our communities, etc. And they have taken in St. Louis, where I'm located now, something like 2,000 acres, pushed Africans off the land to create this global, this spy center, this international geospatial spy center that controls every satellite that you see happening in the world, and all the drones that's killing people, even in Russia, killing people in various places around the world. They are putting that in African communities. They're uprooting Africans from homes and what have you to make that happen. In the name, they'll give you a job, they say, but that's a lie. Because even to get a job at this entity that they're creating, this spy center, requires one to come out clean on their intelligence investigation. And I don't know an African who has not himself been in prison, doesn't have a relative who's been in prison, doesn't know somebody who's been in prison, doesn't live next door to somebody who's been in prison or on their way to prison. That's our reality. This is what they are telling us that we are supposed to be defending. That is to say, people who would go out and kill people in Venezuela or fight for that. So it's ridiculous. And we reject that totally. I want to respect I want to say that also, a fundamental contradiction that we are looking at is the weakness of a revolutionary movement inside the United States, because it should be necessary for the United States to be so busy covering its own ass that it wouldn't have the resources and times and intent and interest and desire and time to be attacking Venezuela or any other country out there in the world. And that's part of the problem here is the fact is an unwillingness to recognize that inside the United States there are colonies, the indigenous people. And when I say indigenous, I'm talking about all of the indigenous people. I'm talking about those in the concentration camps that they call Indian reservations, those in the concentration camps that they call barrios, those in the concentration camps that they call prisons, etc. These are indigenous people whose existence actually bespeak the nature of the social system that we live with and the oppression that we all have to deal with. So finally, we have fought for many years subsequent to the military defeat of the Black Revolution of the 1960s. We have fought for many years to bring our struggle back on track, to take it from this idealized version with this assumption that what we are fighting against is the ideas in white people's heads. What we are fighting against is to make white people like us. Something to that effect. We fought that and continue to fight it every day. The reality, of course, is that we are fighting against colonialism. We forced the colonial question back onto the agenda, even after what the U.S. was able to do with the assassinations, with the murders, with the genuine anti-colonial fighters of the 1960s, even after the incredible a movement that we saw grow out of Cuba with the Africa, Asia, Latin America front that was consolidated, USPAL, the organization that came out of that, and the tremendous amount of murders that prevented that from doing the kinds of things that we needed it to do. But we saw colonized peoples coming together to organize together. To end this relationship we have with a horrible, horrible system that gave rise to white power. And that's what it is. It called itself white power braggadociously. It called itself white power. It identified itself as white. And it characterized white as this glorious thing, as opposed to the rest of us and around the world. And the fact is, of course, that in so doing, they branded themselves. And I want to just say that we're looking at a colonial mode of production. So people are able to recognize colonial. They say inside Palestine, finally we got them to say it's colonial question in Palestine. We've got them to say it's a colonial question in various places around the world. But what is really important for us, for Venezuela, for this whole movement, is to recognize that we're looking at colonialism as a mode of production. It is not simply a policy by a particular country. It is a mode of production. It is something that came into existence with the development of what people refer to as this whole social system. It came into existence with a process that started 600 years ago when Portugal made its incursion into Africa and began to capture Black people and disperse us around the world, creating the colonial project. So this is the first time you saw in history where there was a global economy that united the whole world in a single economy. That's where Venezuela comes from. You want to talk about how the contradiction of Venezuela? Was no Venezuela before the colonial project, before the settlers stole African people and dispersed us around the world as colonized people and dropped us off in all of those places. But what they did also, when they dispersed us around the world at gunpoint, we're not like the Europeans who like to brag that they came to the United States and et cetera, looking for a better way of life and looking for freedom, et cetera. We lost a better way of life. We lost freedom. And we've been fighting for a better way of life and for freedom ever since. And the people in Venezuela are fighting for that same better life. We are part of the same struggle, the same movement, the same blood, if you will, engaged in a struggle against white power that has been built on the backs of our oppression and the enslavement of our people, and it's time for it to end. So we just want to say that we have profound solidarity with Venezuela and all of the oppressed peoples of the world. With the Palestinians who have been shamelessly murdered, this system has no conscience, has no shame. It kills people without shame. Murdering fisher persons in the middle of the Caribbean have no defense capacity. Raiding my home and the homes of our movement at 5 a.m. pre-dawn in the morning, threatening us with 15 years in prison for talking. This is not a powerful country where they say they will put you in prison for 15 years for talking. That's something about a fragile social system that can't stand even a discussion. That's why everybody's bugged. That's why there are cameras everywhere. So they want to make sure that you don't think the wrong thing, that you don't say the wrong thing, and the rest of that. Yeah. But the people will be free. Yeah. And it's our responsibility to make that happen. And right now, Venezuela is on the front line of that struggle, and we have to do everything we can to give solidarity to Venezuela against this war being made by this merciless, shameless, most oppressive, genocidal entity that has ever been on the planet Earth. They have to go out and get jobs for themselves, go to work for themselves, and stop trying to bleed the people of the world for all of our resources. We want everything back. Yeah. We want reparations. We want everything back. Everything that you've taken, we want it back with interest. So that's what I need to say. And I really want to express appreciation, hands off Uhuru, to this extraordinary front that we've opened up in Latin America and Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Fist up! Fist up! Uhuru, we stand with our chairman with solidarity with Venezuela. Uhuru, and this young man I want to bring up to the stage, which is our international president. I always tease him because he had this $1 million smile, but don't let that smile fool you because he's a fierce revolutionary. He's a fierce revolutionary. But one thing I like about this comrade, like the chairman tells us, that this is the first international president that we have off the continent, Khartoum from Sudan. And hopefully the skills that you develop in here, you could go back home and teach them, because we know the Sudanese armed forces with the rapid forces, there's stuff that got going on in Sudan is. But anyway, our comrade, our international president, Mr. Lukede himself, please come up to the mic and bless us with your statement.
Fight back. Fight back. Uhuru. Uhuru comrades, sisters and brothers, I want to first express my appreciation to you all for being here on this Sunday. This Sunday, this weekend is part of the main intensive for the Midwest, and it's been pretty intense. Just a salute to all the comrades for all the victories yesterday, and the many victories to come. I want to say just a few things that before the early 90s, you had a situation in Venezuela where the government was incredibly corrupt. You had a situation in Venezuela where there was a two-party system, and let me know if that sounds familiar, where there was extreme poverty, where there was extreme wealth inequality, where there was social unrest all the time, because the people were not in control of their own resources. They could not benefit from the value of their work, of their labor, and so this was the kind of situation that was happening, and Venezuela was being extracted. The resources were being extracted by the various parasites that exist here in the U.S. and around the world. These were colonial parasites, and so there was a movement to establish a society and a government that was open, that would be open to the masses of the Venezuelan people, and fully participated by the masses of the Venezuelan people to create a new constitution, to expand Venezuela's control, state control of Venezuela's very own resources to benefit the people. This was the Bolivarian revolution that was led by Hugo Chavez, and was continued by President Nicolas Maduro, who is the current president of Venezuela. And so what they call the Chavistas, who had identified themselves as anti-imperialists, as socialists, and as anti-colonial. After the Chavistas had won control of the government, there came so many victories that were won by the people of Venezuela in their Bolivian revolution within just a couple decades or so. It was incredible. We have a situation now where there used to be only something like 12 universities there. Now there are almost 40. Right on. Illiteracy has been virtually overturned. Everyone can read and write, which I can't say the very same thing here in the U.S., where we have incredibly poor education. And so the people were housed and fed, are housed and fed. There are universal health care to the marginalized communities. This was a democratic revolution in which the people had finally have participation and control of their government. This is a people's government. This is what winning national democratic rights for the colonized look like. The struggle that InPDUM has been engaged in, this struggle to support and defend the national democratic rights of African people. I also want to say that this is quite clearly, a young revolution. It's only just a couple decades old or so, and yet it's won so many victories, even in that short time. So this young revolution must be defended by all progressive and democratic social forces in the entire world. It must be. This is a young democracy. I do also want to make that point clear, that this is a young democracy. Democracy does not exist in the United States. We've never experienced democracy here in the United States. No one has ever experienced democracy here in the United States. Democracy takes the form of the state. So if you have a situation where, there's a colonial state, where there's a capitalist state, who controls the state? Who defines what democracy looks like, what participation looks like? It's those wealthy colonized individuals. And so So real democracy exists in Venezuela. And through the participation of the Venezuelan people, through things like their communal councils, through their worker control cooperatives, and things like that, the people are able to participate in democracy in Venezuela, determining what their future looks like, for themselves and for their children. I do also want to say so that this is what the United States government is trying to put an end to, because the people in Venezuela has been successful in denying colonialism full, complete, unfettered control and access to the South American continent. When Venezuela produces value for themselves to be able to feed, clothe, house themselves, and things like that for their people. It doesn't produce value for Microsoft or for the various oil companies and things like that. It produces it for the people, for the benefit of the people. And so the U.S. in just the recent past had just recent times had denied the legitimacy of the recent election that occurred last year, an election in which even Jimmy Carter himself had said something to the effect that out of all the elections, 90-something elections, that they 92 that they had examined and things like that, the Venezuelan election is the best in the entire world, which is a statement, coming from a former president, because real elections and things like that, full democratic participation of the citizenry and things like that doesn't exist here in the United States. And so it should be a criticism coming out from them, but it definitely is a criticism coming out from we ourselves here in the U.S. I do also want to say that so the U.S. had increased the reward to $50 million from President Nicolas Maduro, to encourage his assassination, his coup, his imprisonment, and his removal. And so the U.S. Currently has something like 15,000 troops that's been sent to the Caribbeans. And I heard something recently where the U.S. now has something like a quarter of its entire naval force in the Caribbean. It had rerouted them from Europe, from Africa, from all these different places. So there is a real effort being made to overturn the Bolivarian revolution that is currently underway in Venezuela. But the people are coming into this process of defending the revolution. And so we like to salute them as well. The International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement stands in unconditional solidarity with President Nicolas Maduro, with the people's government of Venezuela, and all who struggle against colonialism, against the colonial mode of production. Our motto in InPDUM is that self-determination is the highest expression of genuine democracy for the colonized. I will repeat that self-determination is the highest expression of genuine democracy for the colonized, because colonialism strips the colonized of any democratic rights, of any human rights. It's a humiliating thing. And so I do also want to say that we want to raise to all of the progressive democratic social forces and progressive organizations here in the U.S. and around the world to support Venezuela in the struggle to defend the right of the Venezuelan people to live free, to live a dignified life, to live in a self-determining society, determined and defined by themselves. As we unite with any struggle against colonialism. So this week has been incredible. It is a week of action. This represents the conclusion of the week of action in support of Venezuela, where InPDUM has been holding political education and as well as participating in protests and demonstrations. And we will continue to support this struggle to the end, because this isn't like a Venezuelan struggle. This is our struggle. This is one struggle, many fronts. And so we say victory to Venezuela, hands off Venezuela, victory to Africa, hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa, hands off Venezuela, hands off Cuba, hands off Palestine, and death to colonialism, victory to the African Revolution. Uhuru.
Hands off Uhuru 3. Uhuru, let's give our international president a round of applause. I'm glad you was able to articulate that hands off Venezuela statement. Uhuru. Uhuru. Now, comrades, y'all ready? Y'all ready for cadre building? Uhuru, the intensive begins now. Well, that's a lie. It began a minute ago. But anyhow, right now I am ecstatic. I am proud to bring up one of our comrades that love traveling from Chicago. I say, man, stop wasting no miles and that gas and move on down. But this comrade is he a hard working man. He's the one to be bringing you beautiful what's not on the screen. But not only that, not to limit him to that, he is our Midwest representative, Uhuru. So right now, let's give a hand of applause for Kabula as he make his way up to the stage to introduce the Cadre Intensive and highlight day one of the movement with economic development of whatnot. Moving theory, moving from theory to practice. Uhuru. Touch one. Touch one. Our Midwest rap. Wait, ain't you? Hey, look, last week we talked about chairman lifting weights and stuff. Now he trying to outdo his chairman. Ain't he kind of buff, y'all? He can't outdo our chairman now. That's five.
Uhuru. As we move in unity with theory and practice, our own R&DP, point number 39, it says we call on African people around the world to unite in building of Black Star Industries, the economic engine of the African Socialist International, which aims to liberate and unite the African economy. So that's what we did practically. We had a weekend of volunteering with the Uhuru Foods, learning and doing the practical skills of baking, outreach, sales and promotion, phone banking, and we also saw some of the state oppression that, you don't, by visiting the bakery, you see that, somehow mysteriously the streets are blocked off almost in every direction. Completely blocked off. You gotta park and walk around or, drive in circles a couple times to find a parking lot. Also, there was a problem with the sewage line. So that canceled production for part of the day. Somehow mysteriously, and we can't
Sabotage.
yeah, we can't put it past the state where we had to threaten taking them to court. And also in city council meetings that was open up to the entire movement, and we presented our petitions signed by people of the city and businesses, present petitions just to get our permit to open up the bakery. So it does need our support. It does need support of all aspects of the movement. The economic and political are one. And I want to, the political and economic are one. You cannot have one without the other. Economic work is political work, strategically geared toward the conquest of power. It is the basis for dual and contending power. The work for self-determination and self-reliance is an integral part of the struggle for national liberation under the leadership of the African working class. There is no such thing as self-determination independent of self-reliance. Economic work creates self-reliance within the party and is the foundation of the independent African economy. Every department and organization must create the capacity to sustain their office or organization and to contribute to the economic capacity of the party, of the office of the chair. Our economic work undermines imperialism and transfers resources away from imperialism. Every dollar you take in is a dollar taken away from this parasitic capitalist system. How much did you raise and how many people did you recruit are the determining factors of the success of every party, organization, activity. The work to raise resources is one of the best recruiters to the movement. It gives us excellent opportunities to meet and recruit people, and we can't carry out economic work without recruiting people to do it. Use the skills and talents that you have, and connections of your team. Consult with the office of the chair and others in the organization for ideas, experience, and participation. Party economic institutions belong to the African working class. Chairman Omali said, our objective is to increase our capacity for resource generation to support the work of our party and to create institutions and programs to stimulate economic development within our colonized communities. Uhuru. I do want to say more of, well, I'll just say what is Uhuru Bakery and Cafe. Uhuru Bakery and Cafe works to end food apartheid in North St. Louis by bringing access to healthy and delicious food. Partnering with the African Independence Workforce Program, Uhuru Bakery and Cafe creates jobs, culinary skills for economic self-determination, and a cultural hub on the devastated North Side St. Louis community. Uhuru. I'd like to open it up to participants and to share their experiences yesterday. Again, you can volunteer with the Uhuru Pies by going to uhurupies.org and clicking on volunteer. Anyone like to step up? I'll say that you know, out there at the market, it was nice. It was fun to be out there. And
Girl. Yeah, I see somebody famous up there. Your famous face up there. Look at you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see myself. I gotta come up, look at it. I like that.
and it was good doing outreach. We had flyers. We got to inform people about the bakery. You know, it's a new bakery opening on the north side of St. Louis, and a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I live right by there. Let me go check it out. So it opens up and people are excited about it too. And of course the food is good too. I think yeah, I gotta order my pie soon. Anyone like to speak on their experiences?
Mic is open. Come on up.
You gotta go to the mic.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
This one here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Uhuru, everybody.
Uhuru.
Yeah, Uhuru in the AM at noon at night because our leadership tells us so, right?
Right on, right on.
Yes, I was asked to come down to participate in the movement, the market by comrade Kabula in Chicago. We only stay about walking distance away.
What you said?
Actually about a bicycle ride away, you might say. So he asked me to come down and help with the market. And I was glad to do so because I'm a member of InPDUM Chicago. And I was asked to help Sister Carol back there. We cut the pies and put them in something to give out as samples. But it was and I was trying to concentrate on that. You know, but one thing that I noticed was how enthusiastic everybody was who were coming to the market.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think the Uhuru Pies did very well. You know, it was so many displays at the market, you know, but as people were walking past, you know, they wanted to sample the pies, the Uhuru pies, and the pies tasted so good, you know, that the people ended up saying, let me get a pie. Let me get a whole pie. So I'm not a person of many words, so I was glad to participate, and I've been very enthusiastic about this revolution, and you know, because I want to see just like our chairman would say, Uhuru in our lifetime. Uhuru.
Would there be any other discussion? Think Sister Curl making her way to the mic. Uhuru.
I enjoyed, I worked yesterday and I enjoyed working with everybody. And it was a pleasurable experience. And I look forward to volunteering again sometime.
Okay, Miss Chief of Staff,
Uhuru,
Uhuru.
as part of the practical work yesterday, I participated in phone banking. And I was, it was great to be able to talk to, you know, a lot of people that, one, we don't talk to ordinarily, number one. But number two was just the enthusiasm, as everyone else has already shared, the enthusiasm of the people that they really support an independent African economy. One, we are in a food desert, so they're glad to see something come here, but they are really excited about the work that is led by the African People's Socialist Party here, you know, on the ground. There are families, you know, that are participating together in this work. So it was great to be able to, again, connect with people that I don't get the opportunity to connect with all the time, and just the real enthusiasm, and not so much the enthusiasm, but the genuine support that people have for seeing an African independent economy, certainly here on the north side, let alone the world.
Yeah, I just wanted to unite with everything that I heard. And I participated with the Soulard pie sales, and we got them set up. As soon as it was open, 3 minutes, we had a sale. Those pies was going like hotcakes. But the point that was being made about the African independent economy was clear. I don't think in terms of all the people that I interacted with and heard others interact with, was there was 100% unity. I don't think I heard or saw anybody who was in denial or came against us and said this is bogus. I mean, some people may have had dietary restrictions, but that's why we got vegans running. But for the most part, everybody, black or white, Chinese, whatever it was that was coming up, they had deep and profound unity because we had the information. We told them where we were located. They knew where we were located. And like we said, some lived in this area before it's now moved out, but they still come and visit and they still see it. But they, you know, they saw from a distance, but then they were able to see up close. So that's that applied African internationalism. That's that hands-on, you know, that's getting dirty or whatever, cleaning, whatever we had to do. It was a great time, a great opportunity. And I think we represented well, Uhuru.
Yeah, I was at the Sular market on yesterday, and the comrades that put me to work. I was helping with the register and as well as calling people over to come over, and as well as bagging up the pies, and putting the info in and stuff like that. It was my first time participating in the market as a vendor. I'm usually organizing, the market and bringing vendors in and stuff like that. So that was neat. One thing I really appreciate is, and this comes with the over 40 years. I think Comrade Ciali has said 44 years we've been doing this. The Uhuru Foods and Pies. And so the comrades have been trained up real well. And it was my first time there. It was my first time participating in this capacity. So I didn't know much, and so the comrades within a few, it wasn't long. It was 10, 15 minutes or whatever, they trained me up. And they can train you up, because we have developed the capacity to be able to do that. And so there's that. My experience yesterday was really, really, really good. In fact, it was the first time I ever experienced in that participated in that capacity. And everyone was in unity with the pies. In fact, their only criticism is that we didn't have enough pies. Which is a really good statement of support and things like that. And they had united. We're in unity with our work to develop Uhuru Foods and Pies, have a bakery and cafe open and available for in the community and things like that, and overturning food desert. They're really, really, really happy to hear that from all across Africans, North Americans, you name it. They're extremely happy. And I do also want to say that we got a number of people who volunteered, even bakers themselves who were coming up to volunteer, and so and folks here locally as well, to volunteer. And we also had some the youth. The youth also had signed up to volunteer as well, and I think that's incredibly important. And they were really happy. These young folks were really happy to hear about the work that we were doing. And they wanted to get involved in that work. And so I do want to make a call out to everyone here in this meeting and those who are watching to get involved in our economic development work. I mean, this is applied African internationalism. That's what this is what African internationalism looks like. The African working class coming together to build and do for ourselves, to be self-reliant and to be self-determined. We got to build, not only the Uhuru Foods and Pies, but we got other institutions that we already built and that we're working to build that's coming on the way. So we do need your participation. We do need the skills that you bring, the talents that you bring. We can utilize everything because we don't, let anything go to waste. That's a central thing in African communities. And so, I just want to say that if you haven't experienced it, please do experience it. I know I myself had tried, one of the pies in the past. As well as the cookies. Oh man. Tiali had this saying that that I think it's something like the Uhuru Foods and Pies are incredibly addictive, but we don't have any what's it called? No. Oh man.
Yeah, I would call it either.
Yeah. Oh, I wish he was here. Okay, but yeah. Anyways, I do want to try some pies out. I did get a vegan sweet potato pie. You can try out. And this is the incredibly exciting work, and I just want to appreciate the work of the party, the work of the Black Power Blueprint. The work as the deputy chair, and even if you're not, even if you're in other areas, please do help promote the Black Power Blueprint. This is the solution that the community needs, and they want to support. They need to know. Anyways, Uhuru.
Fist up. Uhuru. I want to appreciate that from our international president, Uhuru. Now, as he was speaking about economic development, that's one of the most important things in our community, economic development. Y'all experienced one of our, where he was just speaking about the garden, not the garden, the bakery. We have over 50 economic institutions. Uhuru, the bakery just being one of them. But speak about economic development. We want to teach y'all a little something about fundraising. Because we know that money ain't given freely. Sometimes we gotta go out in the community and fundraise to further deliberation. So, as of right now, I want to give a hand round of applause for our comrade, Gregory Reed, to come up here and deliver us an economic development. That's one.
Hey, Bargane, brothers, sisters, comrades. Man, there's nothing else for me to say. Chairman spoke about institutionalizing ideas and the superstructure that was out there, which has worked against us. But we also understand that the chairman has built on philosophies and concepts that he's attempted to share with us from folks like Marcus Garvey, Malcolm, and Marcus Garvey, whom many of our organizations look to for self-determination and economic development. He looked to an American brother by the name of Booker T. Washington and got inspired by his work with the Tuskegee Institute. And I say that not because these brothers were lockstep in their belief systems, but they both realized that we had a common goal that was economically based. And they may very well have taken some different steps to get there, but they knew we had to get there. Yeah. Now, what I found exciting about yesterday was we saw our international president enthusiastically sharing information and the pies with anybody that walked by. And he was absolutely correct that there was so much excitement. The air was just filled with excitement. Folks that loved those pies. It didn't make any difference whether they were Asian, Black, African brothers and sisters, Caribbean brothers and sisters, whites. They all enjoyed those pies. Now, that really something that Booker T had said, I thought that yesterday culminated his system. He said that we must reinforce argument, that is philosophy, with results. And we saw yesterday the result of a long battle that Uhuru has gone through. And we shouldn't dismiss that, because there were a lot of individuals that got out on the street, they knocked on doors, they signed petitions, they went down in protest, they gave moral support when we needed moral support. Some of them that didn't have money still came out of their pocket and gave a few dollars. Yeah. And as a result of that, we looked around and saw what an institution looks like when it is African-led.
That's right.
I'm an old fella, and a lot of the terminologies that my comrades use, I struggle with. I know that there are many brothers and sisters out there, this whole thing called colonialism and neocolonialism and African internationalism, and sometimes get to be overwhelming. But that's part of the education, see? And we need to be able to both educate as we build our institutions. And we can let our brothers and sisters know that it doesn't make any difference whether you have a degree, whether you have a skill as a mechanic,
whether you can operate electronic equipment. We need it all.
Yeah.
We need every bit of it. We need you to be able to walk that street, pass out flyers. We need you to be able to get on the phone bank. Whatever skill, as Sister Fofi like to say, you have, we need. We want to raise and recruit. We need to raise money, of course, but we have to recruit and educate at the same time. Now, St. Louis InPDUM is taking on the challenge of taking some early steps to raise some money so we can help build our institutions and recruit brothers and sisters into the movement. We have 2 projects that we have coming up in the short term. We did a little test run on double good popcorn. Got a lot of feedback, interestingly enough. Individuals that received their popcorn, they told us how wonderful it was. They really loved it. We're going to launch that again December 6th through the 10th. And we're going to do it again February 6th through February 10th. And it is in this line that we really need your support. We need 2 things to happen. Number one, we need brothers and sisters that are willing to act as team members and contact your supporters. And we want non-movement supporters. We want new brothers and sisters to be able to get a better understanding what Uhuru is about. So we're asking you to join us as a team member to send out a link to join our fundraising event on December 10th, December 6th through the 10th. This is the early project. Later on in the year, we're going to have another project. So what we call our neighborhood yard sale. We're going to do it in conjunction with the farmers market. You learn things after a while that when you work together on projects, it benefits everybody. So when we saw the farmers market work in conjunction with our last convention, boy, everybody benefited, both from education and food. So we're going to use that as a way to build both with our institutions, that is recruiting our local churches to participate with us with the yard sale. They all got stuff tucked away in those churches that they need to sell and share with the community. We're going to give them that opportunity. And when they come and join us, not only are they going to have an opportunity to see the farmers market and gather up some good food, they're going to be able to sell some of their product. But in the short term, we need to raise some short-term money. So I'm looking for some brothers and sisters here. I know a couple of you already volunteered to be on the team that will act as team members to send out links to your supporters to join us in the Double Good popcorn fundraiser. So I know we do have Brother James is going to be a member of that. Sister NK. Oh, whoop, let me get his name down here. Brother Lukede.
Right.
Okay. Sister Sophia. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, Brother Maurice. All right. Now listen, I want you to know that this is not one of those things where you got to get out there and beat the bushes. You already have your contacts on your phone right now. You have individuals that have been family members or acquaintances that are looking for ways to get involved. And we're going to give them that opportunity. We're not trying to send out for you to twist arms and get 10 or 15 people to buy a box of popcorn. We want you to contact those individuals that you think would benefit from working with us at Uhuru. And all we need is 3 or 4 folks from each one of us. And we will raise the amount of money that will allow us to do some of the bigger things, to do some institutional building. Now, I'm going to end it with this. Economic development is an ongoing process. We meet regularly. Our next meeting is going to be on December 17th at the Christine Coffee Cafe on Natural Bridge. You're more than welcome to come. If you have some ideas, please ship them to us. I'm going to give you my number. It's 314-604-3517. If you're on Facebook or YouTube and you want to participate, call that number, get together with me. I'll help you either act as a team member or as a supporter. You may have some names of people that you say, hey, I can't do it, but send it to these folks. And that'd be a big help to us here at Uhuru. Now, yes, ma'am? It's Friday through Monday.
I think that goes.
Oh, I'm sorry, the meeting, Wednesday. That's Wednesday. Yes. We will meet regularly as we get closer to the yard sale. I have more information for you. This is just an introduction. Next week, I'll give you a little bit more information on where we are with the economic development. Some of you out there may have some ideas that you would like to share with us, some things that you think would work on behalf of Uhuru. We want you to submit those ideas. Together, we can build a nation. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Let's give it up for the economic developer. Uhuru. When I first came to the movement, that was my first line of work, economic development. I was under FOFI. I was under FOFI. But shortly after that, Indio Chamaranga, he stole me from economic development, and I was in security since then. Speaking of security, this would be a great gateway to my portion of the agenda. Now, dealing with security, we know there is a very important thing in our community right now, especially when we have the largest influx of FBI per capita in our neighborhood, St. Louis, Missouri. When we understand that ICE is getting distributed to your and our neighborhoods with, we know state control over the police, even though the people voted to have local control. These Republicans in Jefferson City disregard that and state control of police. We know the land grabs from NGA, the spot center in our community. We know all these things that's coming up against us is approaching our security. So we have to get security minded, y'all. We have to get security minded. So I'm so excited for this portion. Before I get started, I just want to quickly say, last week we spoke about water not water, but food and the importance of food. This week we speaking about economics and security, but I have to put it in water. We can't forget about water. You know what I'm talking about? That is your most important security. Without that, you dead, right? So, because we know our body is majority water. So while you stockpiling on food, don't also forget to stockpile on water. In a sense where you cannot stockpile on water, if that day come, when that day come, just know one of the first things you want to do before the cleaning system, the filter system that's on Hall Street or wherever you located, wherever you are. Y'all know where it's located. But before that system go down, fill your bathtubs up with water. Fill your bathtubs up with water. When you're looking for emergency water, do not forget that your hot water tank is filled with water. You know what I'm talking about? Just know that water. You cannot forget about water. But without further ado, without further tarry, let's speak about security, right? A little bit about myself, to let you know that I'm well qualified to lead this particular part of the agenda. My grandfather, he was in World War II. The USS Missouri, where the Japanese signed the treaty, the peace treaty, that's where my grandfather was stationed, you know, World War II. My mother, she served, she retired a few years back after serving 25 plus years in the Navy. You know, with my grandfather being first generation Navy, my mother being second generation Navy, I wanted to join the Marines branch of the Navy, but they turned me down. They turned me down. So at least I was able to experience from 11 and a half, 12 to 16. My mother put us in the Lukede Cadet programs up at the air base in the county. So I was able to get that military training, if you will. Shortly after that, you know, it's something that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I jumped off the porch at 10, y'all. You know, I was in a gang and you know, experienced the life on the streets. So I was able to experience the real struggle, and I was able to get a mindset on how to weave through the streets, how to weave through the streets. You know, before I got here, maybe a decade ago, 2017, I think it was when I showed up here. But before I got here, I was a leader of a guerrilla movement. Leader of a guerrilla movement from 2006, 2007 area up to 2017, you know. But like I said, I shared to you when I first got here, economic development, but in 2017, 2018, Chimarenga took me from there and he cultivated me, he trained me, he taught me. I end up, I don't want to say raising ranks. Chimarenga, I end up becoming number 2 to Chimarenga within security. I end up some are security protocols. I end up me and Jamal end up revising some of the security protocols within our movement. I was able to rewrite or revise. So yeah, I think this selection that I'm in, I think I'm very schooled to teach this. Uhuru. Briefly, I'm going to be going back and forth with a couple of different sayings. So I want to, first of all, this particular thing is called security and emergency protocols. But if you hear me say OPSEC, you know, sometimes I'm going to be using that word interchangeably, which is operational or operation security, which is stand for OPSEC. Now, we now I'm gonna go through this OPSEC because I want us to use this application in a practical way, right? Now this OPSEC is a military thing. It's military sayings, it's military steps, it's 5 steps. Now it's dealing with security aspect of it, but you could do as I done and use this to develop other aspect of security outside of intelligence, what have you. But the 5 steps of operational security is to identify critical informations. To identify critical information. What is that? Sensitive information about yourselves. About yourselves. I'm going to be dealing with a few different areas. This area now that I'm dealing with is dealing with yourself first, because we all know that ourselves is the first line of defense. First line of defense. So identifying critical information pertaining to yourself is, we know a lot of times in our cars, we leave our wallets in there. We leave our purse in there with critical information, etc. We know at our home place, we so comfortable with having information all over, but not necessarily tripping over. We have company, they preview to this sensitive information. But I just want to go over the steps right quick. First step, identify critical information. Second thing is analyze threats. You have to analyze threats. So you won't be blindsided. You have to analyze threats. The third one to OPSEC is analyze your vulnerabilities. Where you vulnerable at? You have to analyze that. The fourth one is to assess your risk. Assess your risk. Then after you do all of these things, you identify the critical information, you analyze the threats, you analyze your vulnerability, you assess the risk, you have to apply countermeasures. You have to apply countermeasures to try to eliminate or reduce any type of threats that you might be facing. But like I said, you are the first line of defense. We have to understand that. So at all times, we have to have a security mindset. We have to have a security mindset. So I just want to give you, and mind you, I'm self-critical. I had a beautiful presentation set up for you, you know, pictures and all, you know, but I'm a dinosaur with this technology, so I don't know what the hell I did with that info. It got lost when I was trying to send it to Kabula, so I apologize, but follow along the best way you can. If there's some things where I talk too fast, please be mindful that it is recorded on YouTube and Facebook, so keep rewinding it back. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. If you watching us view internet, social media, please put it in the comments and we'll be sure to answer these questions. But with you being the first line of defense, there's a few things I wanted to throw out there. First of all, we have to pay attention. Period. We have to pay attention. Most of the stuff that we are in, where my cousin Joy at, y'all? Most of the things that we are in is because we don't pay attention. Number one, if we just lift our heads up and stop paying attention to social media in our phone, we could potentially see threats that might be walking upon us. I don't know wherever you guys located at. I don't know if y'all familiar with the knockout game, but here in St. Louis, it's a foolish thing they call the knockout game, where you have individuals walking. They usually team up focus on elderly, but these cats focus on anyone that's not paying attention. They'll walk, and when you least expect it, they'll swing on you and try their best to knock you out. We must pay attention because we can avoid things like that. Or one thing that I know that we always do is we always have our earbuds in our ears. We always listen to music, we always having the phone calls or what have you with earbuds. And then don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being lazy too and not holding my phone. But you know how dangerous that is? You cannot hear if someone runs up on you, you cannot hear this. If you walk in and a car is out of control, the screeching of the brakes, you cannot hear this if you have these things in your ear. Take them out, y'all. Especially if we in this fall time, you know, it's leaves on the ground. You want to be able to hear somebody running up on you. You can hear these things. You want to be able to hear the car, the brakes screeching and jump out of the way. Take the damn earbuds out your ear. Pay attention. When you pay attention, I know, first of all, we must get our personal defense up. We must. Everyone that can, get a gun. Get 2, 3 of them. I have 13 to be exact. For the ones that can't get a gun, get a knife. Make sure you check your this, that, and that. Make sure I ain't setting you up for failure. But I think fellas can have knives and bow and arrows and stuff like that. But invest in your security. At the least, get some damn mace. Uhuru? Mace is not no gun, but mace will keep danger up off you. At least with a knife, like I say, it's dangerous, but you got to wait till the subject come up on you. At least with the mace, you keeping them off. But personal weapons. Speaking of personal weapons, we talked about last week, stockpile on your food. Stockpile on your damn weapons too. You know, once upon a time, I used to have a job, a job. Ma'am, ammunition. What I say? Stop. Thank you, because that's what I meant. That's what I'm trying to say. Stockpile on your ammunition. Thank you. Stockpile on your ammunition. There's sometimes your eyes read things that's not on the book. I got a problem with saying that. But stock. When I used to have a job, every pay period, I used to buy some ammos. So that's what's wrong with us is in our communities. We don't mind buying guns, but we shortchange ourselves on ammo. We'll get a box of 50, shoot 25 of those for the first of the year, then shoot the other 25 on 4th of July. Then what? Then what? Stockpile on your. Hey, listen, what I used to do, since I don't got a job no more, I can't, I gotta do it in small increments. But what I used to do is every time paycheck come, 1 week I get a box of thousands of shells, thousands of rounds. Stockpile, y'all. Stockpile. Thousands of rounds. 1 week, buy you some rounds. Next week, buy you some clips. Week after that, buy you some rounds. Week after that, buy you some clips. That's what you do. Hey, Conrad, I got this. I got this, Conrad. I got 30 minutes, Conrad. Let me do this. Thank you. Now, they say to sustain a 10-minute gunfight, 10-minute gunfight, you got to have at least 10 rounds, 30 rounds capability. 10 rounds. 10 rounds, y'all. It's not a, when you talk about stockpile your ammunition, it's not just enough to have one clip. That one clip is going to leave in a matter of minutes. I ain't bringing all my things out because you don't want folks to know what's in your house. But you stockpile like it ain't on tomorrow. Now, on the guns, what I recommend you do is, of course, you got to have your gauge. When you have your gauge, you perfectly, especially if you're using it for home defense, you load it buckshots first. Because we know a lot of us out here don't go. I do my weapons training, my gun, what you call it, range. I go to the range, but a lot of us don't go to the range. So if you're trying to do home defense, the best thing we do is gauge and how you load up buckshots. Because even if you're not a good aimer, though buckshots, it will spread and it had nothing, no other choice but to hit the intruder. Only thing you got is point and aim. But it have to be loaded, buckshot slugs, because we know that buckshots is not unless you 2 or 3 feet away from it, they don't have the stopping power. They don't have the stopping power. Uhuru.
Yeah. For those who, are just, just African working class in the community.
I'm going there.
What can we do, in terms of how do we make sure that we alleviate some of the, questions revolving around security in the community?
Uhuru, I appreciate that.
Working together in the community.
I appreciate that, and I don't get it there.
How can I work with the person, down the block? How can I work with the neighborhood that's way down over there who apparently has, due to the city continuously breaking up our communities and isolating our communities, have a negative kind of viewpoint to a neighborhood and things like that. How can we mend these things? These things are, something that are pervasive, that are consistent. Security is more than just, the kind of things you're talking about. The homes have to be rebuilt.
I understand it, Conrad, and so I could proceed forward.
Resources, food, clothes, shelter, and all these things. Even there are some folks in the community who have grown up together, and who just through just looking after each other has built almost just out of the need from that particular neighborhood relationship to each other, you know, so that they are, and it's primitive. They look after each other. They see who is coming down.
I got this, comrade.
Like that.
So, comrade, so without further ado, I don't mean to interrupt you. So, but without further ado, let's us continue because I'm getting there. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I got 30 minutes, and I know you want me to get there within 5 minutes, but I'm getting there. So, Uhuru, I appreciate it. And then after I get done, we can open up for comments, and then I can answer questions then. So I appreciate it, and I'm sorry for the brief intermission. But once again, the first line of defense is yourself. The first line of defense. So we can't forget that. So within you being the first line of defense, make sure you act accordingly or plan accordingly. And like comrade said, it's not just about having weapons, but you being the first line of defense is crucial for you to have protection. But yeah, so we're not all on that. I just want you to understand this. You make sure you stockpile because you are the I'll be done in a second, brother. I'll be done in a second. No more interruption. I don't want to get sidetracked. But so number one, we have to pay attention. Number two, we have to have personal security. We have to. Now, I told you what I had. I told you what you need to get. But just in case you don't have personal security, just know it's weapons all the way around. It's always weapons there. You know, when you out and about, just go back to paying attention. Look around. Identify something that could be used if they say I'd rather be safe than sorry. Even though I might not need this, but I'm still gonna examine my atmosphere, my place where I'm at. And if I see a brick, if I see a bottle, if I see any type of weapons, because I might not have a weapon, just identify it. I might not never need it, but if a knockout game or if an ops or whomever was to attack the state, well, we'll talk about that later. But if it once was to attack me and I am caught without weapons, just know it's always weapons around. So then I'll be caught slipping. And like I said, do not let folks know what's in your house. Do not let folks all know what's in your house as far as what you've been prepping or what you've been saving, because that in itself invite folks to your house. Invite folks to your house. Invite folks to your house. But that's the first line of defense. The second line of defense is the home. It is the home. We know that's our castle. So I want to share a few things with you that's practical for you to protect your home. Uhuru? You want to always have a defensive perimeter around your house. You want to always have it. Starting with a fence. Starting with a fence. You know, when folks walk on your block, they want to look at your house as a fortress. They don't want to think it's easy to invade or get in. They want to look at us like, man, that's wasting my that's not worth my troubles. Let me move on. So you always have a defensive perimeter, even if you're not able around your house. But even if you're not able to have a fence around your house, still you could compensate by having trees, or you could compensate what I used to do wintertime. Everybody wants to rake up their leaves. Now leave your leaves there, especially if you don't have a fence, because someone crunching wants to do some sneaking shit. You can hear the stepping on the crunching of the leaves. Or put certain sticks in certain positions, like under the windows and around the doors. So when they step, you can hear these things. But you always gotta have a defensive perimeter around your house. Natural barricades like trees or what have you. You gotta make sure you have spotlights, motion detector lights too. But you have two different things. Like I said, you have lights that's in your yard that's on a motion detector. When somebody wants to come in your yard, especially if you don't have no fence, somebody wants to come in your yard, it would pop on, might deter them. But the lights that's on your house, make sure those on timers. But you don't want the house lights and the lights that's in your field. You don't want those to come on simultaneously with each other. No, but make sure you have a dogs. We know dogs is good for outside defense of your house. Somebody wants to come, the barking of the dog will alert you. But even if you don't have no dogs, if you have dogs in your neighborhood, listen for the dog barks. Because they in itself alerts. Have fake if we don't have alarms and stuff on our house, it's things where you can compensate by buying fake security cameras that beeps and fake ADT things that you could buy off Amazon that you could put on your windows for folks to think that this house is alarmed. But you got to make sure that outside your house, and I'm talking about layers of defense. Hopefully none of these layers of defense is breached. But if it is, once again, that's why you got more than 10 rounds. Third lane, line of defense is the house itself. It's the house itself. Like I said, you want your outside of your house be so secure that folks don't even think about going in. But sometimes we know that when you don't prep, when you prep and your neighbors don't, sometimes it leave you as a target. Sometimes we know forget your bars on your windows. This full assault. And when folks try to do full assault, you got to be prepared for this. In the real world, you get real world criminal got 3 minutes to try to attempt to break in your house before he leave. You know what I mean? But make a long story short, in a world where shit hit the fan, they gonna invade regardless of the time. So your house have to be secure. Your house is the third lane of defense. You have to have cameras, and I spoke about some of these things, motion detectors and bars on your windows and bars on your screen doors and fortify your entryways of your house. There's a few different things you can do just to fortify. Number one, upgrade your locks, especially your deadbolt, to heavy duty locks. First of all. Second of all, put 3-inch screws in your doors. That reinforces it. But you want your house to be you cannot get in that mug. It's supposed to be a fortress. Upgrade all your doors to solid core. Your entry doors to solid wood core. Your exit doors to solid the steel core. But all your doors got to be heavy duty. Reinforce it. And when you are away, plan accordingly. I'm not for the sake of time. I'm not necessarily going that, but plan accordingly. But I spoke about these lanes of defense, lines of defense. You, the outside of the house. But if these lines of defense keep getting breached and they make it in the house, then it's a few things that we could do to protect ourselves. Then, first of all, invest in blackout curtains. Because it protects the light from coming in, from going out. And if it is a possibility where somebody fit intrude and you got to move and protect any movement that's in the house. So invest in blackout curtains. Invest in solar generators. No generators, any generators cool, but solar that don't make that noise, just in case your electric get cut so they can't invade. You know what I'm talking about? Build false walls and hidden compartments in your house. You know what I'm talking about? Now the false walls are panic rooms, should I say? Your bedroom. It don't necessarily got to be. I had a safe in my house. In my bedroom, I put a safe in my room, a full-fledged safe. We could hide up in that. But you don't necessarily got to do that. Your door, your closet room, your closet in your bedroom, or a room in your basement, that could be your panic room. Just fortified it. But when it come down to your house, like I said, you got to have a panic room. And within that panic room, you have to have your flashlights. Know your house in the dark. When you and I leave here, train to walk around your house in the dark at nighttime. Because when that time comes, if you have to hit the lights and go hide, you don't want to give up your position by accidentally knocking over things. Learn your house in the dark. But like I said, go to your panic room, stay quiet, stay still. it's a good thing to have a blowhorn. It's a good thing to have a blowhorn because if somebody trying to gain access to your house, before you get a chance to run to your panic room, hit that blowhorn. Because when somebody at the front door or at a window and they hear a loud horn, that in itself might deter them. But soon after you hit that blowhorn, you go to and let it be on the opposite end of the panic room. But as soon as you hit your blowhorn, you go to your panic room. And I'm close to the end of it. You know, you keep your phones and you call the cops. You talk low. The one thing, I know it ain't been 30 minutes, but the one thing you do when you call the cops is the first thing you do, just in case you can't talk or just in case the battery go dead, is you give the address. A lot of times we so panicked we don't give the address. A lot of times we assume that they know the address. You give the address. If you can, then you give the numbers on the folks that's in the house. Okay. Now, and not only that, but you have contingent plans. You go home and you write a plan, emergency/contingent plans. If someone was to break entry of my house, what do we do? And you practice this thing. You practice this thing. And once again, if someone was to come in for close quarter, a handgun is suggested. But if you haven't had training within your handgun, then a gauge loaded up first with buckshots is your better choice. I say this to be quick. For us that don't go to the range, a method that you could do right now here on out to get you good with your aiming is, and you got to do this like quickly. Throw your hands like that. Don't show all of your thumb. Throw your hands like that, and periodically you could do it while you're sitting, while you're driving, whatever. And I promise you, within a few weeks to a month, your aim would be great. Hurry up, do your thumb like that, and point out any little object. You treat yourself if you get a big object. You want to find a small object, and you put it on there, and you immediately train your eye to look at your thumb on that target. I know when you first do it, it's gonna take some seconds, but you want to do it where as soon as you do it, it's a minute where you dial in, because that in itself is the between life and death. A lot of times when they're true to come in, we don't got time. But if you practice now, because at the end of the day, when it comes out to the guns, you got to line the front sights up with the rear sights. And that's how you do it quickly. And I know our comrade was speaking about, I spoke about you outside of your house, the house. But what our comrade was speaking about is, I call it the block, the community. You know, we spoke about last week briefly for us having a community plan for food securities, but we also have to have a community plan for security. And I call it controlling community defense networks, where our comrade was speaking about. Then I also call it controlling the territory. And what this look like, we actually, and what I'm saying is, I'm not just saying this just for talk. A lot of this, I actually implemented this. A lot of this, I actually trained. A lot of this, I actually started doing it for many, many years now. But we must have with this community aspect, once you secure your house and get this plane situated, then you speak to your neighbors about securing their house. But with this community defense network, a few things, should I say. You must have a defensive position around your community. How we implemented in my neighborhood, we did it a block by block, and we like from Baden, I'm the block leader. For sales, we have another block leader. Anyway, but you get a 10 to 15 block radius, and you pick leaders for this particular block. And now, within this, you also establish clear roles. Mind you, this is for the Community Defense Network. You establish clear roles. Some of the roles is lookout post, you know, watch shifts, because we know we must have lookouts day and night, day and night. So we had got to have a rotating watch shift, good communications, like outside of walkie-talkies, two-way radios or CB radios with long antennas for greater frequencies, you know, standing, like I said, standing watch and manning lookout points. Those two different things, standing watch and manning lookout points, patrolling the areas. Now, these is some, not all, because I can't give you all of everything today, because I mean only limited to a certain amount of time. But these certain positions for the community defense network, it had to be clearly established, and the person with the role, it have to be identified. Have to be identified. Because we know some of the things that need to be done is, like, for instance, I already said that Baden Warner Park area is already been orchestrated and laid out. But just to use this area for a second, the community plan. If you develop a community defense network and have the buildings in your neighborhood, even if it's include vacant buildings, but have to have a third, what you call it, third floors, because we know that we have to have watch. We have to have watch, and we know a upper view of things, what you call arena view, or area view is better than being in it. But make a long story short, what it would be is you have different leaders of different blocks, and within their established roles, the only thing they would do is make sure they have a strong perimeter around these certain areas. Now, as long as they have a strong perimeter around these certain areas, it would be impenetrable. How many minutes I have left? Zero. Down for the wrap it up right here. After the wrap it up. We have to have a strong perimeter around our neighborhoods, so it cannot be impenetrable. So it cannot be taken down from the ops, taken down from the state, taken down from whomever. But it's first start with you. First start with you. But if your house is not secured, then this whole plan falls down. This community defense network have to be established in order for us to control our neighborhoods. We have to have a plan. Like I said, I'm not able to give the whole plan out now, but if you have questions, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments and we'll get back to you. But guys, this time that we are in is serious. We ain't wasting our time to try to get you prepared for nothing, y'all. Have a security mindset. Get prepared. In the up and coming next weeks and days, we're gonna tell you how to get more prepared. Uhuru, because we know we are in a dark time. We know that imperialism is in crisis. So they would do all that they can to hold on to power. Uhuru, I want to appreciate your time. I want to appreciate your patience, but also, like I said, be security minded. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions, President. My fault for interrupting you, but I thought I would answer your question later on in the watch call. But please, right now, what I want to do is I want to bring our international president up to the mic, to the stage. Uhuru. Uhuru.
Uhuru comrades. Yeah, I think the presentation the comrade had given was was a good presentation on security. But one of the things that we that we learned doing this work of organizing our communities and this question around security is that the first line of defense is the people. It's you. It's the fact that sometimes when we walk outside, you know, some Africans may have their eyes down because you know that's kind of like a fear sort of thing. It's when we it's important that we when we see other Africans, we greet them. You know, it's important that we do outreach consistently everywhere so people know about us, so people know about the work that we do. This is our defense. The people are the first lines of defense. Um, we also learned, well, anyways, I won't say too much, but the people are the first line of defense. So we do outreach, you know, and this isn't said in like isolation. You know, a few years back, we were attacked by the federal government, still are. But they came out just on July 29th, 2022, with tanks and with a military convoy that you might see in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and so forth. When the U.S. Makes its wars abroad and things like that, this is what we saw in our communities, and they were attacking us because of the work that we do, and so the first line of defense is the people. You know, get to know your neighbors. Really get to know them. Say hello. You know, you can bring them food over. You know, make sure there ain't no problems. You know, and if there are situations in the community, you know, you aren't strangers. We live in a time when most people, Chairman says this regularly, most people have like more friends on Facebook and like thousands, millions possibly of followers on Twitter and what's it called, TikTok and things like that, but they don't even know who their neighbor is, you know, and they want to talk about, you know, the revolution or organizing and stuff like that, you know, but they ain't going door to door. And power exists where you live. You know, it's not organized, you know, collectively and things like that. This is really why, you know, it's important, you know, the work that we do, the style of work that we do, you know, because we ain't just say organize masses and, you know, put a post up on social media, you know, and that's a day's work, you know. We're boots on the ground. We do outreach every single day. We should do outreach every single day, not only here, but wherever we're at. And so, you know, these are just a few things. And you know, we believe that African people have the right to self-defense. You know, self-defense is natural. If you're under attack, you don't just let them do things to you. You know, and so yeah, that's a few things. But the reason why I came up here is we just received some news on the passing away of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, H.Rap Brown, who was a fierce and extraordinary SNCC organizer. And he didn't believe in that nonviolent stuff. You know, even when he was out organizing, you know, even when he was in the prisons and the jails, he would fight all the way through. And he's an extraordinary comrade. He had at one point, if I'm not mistaken, he was the chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and yeah, and in the coming days and week, you'll hear more about them about Jamil Al-Amin, Imam Jamil Al-Amin. But they've had this brother, this comrade, locked up for so many years, and even prior to that. He was constantly attacked by the state, being in and out of prison because of the work that he does to organize our communities. And yeah, so there's that. He was an extraordinary comrade. And this comes not too long after the death of our dear sister, comrade Assata Shakur. So it's been it's already been quite a few months. But one thing that's incredibly important, because even though they might not be physically alive, they're alive in the people. They are well alive in the people. In fact, both forces were instrumental in terms of, even coming into political life and through this most recent period and things like that. Many youth and students study them, study their work, and learn from them. It's still new, as folks coming into this intense struggle of the 2020s. They're still new to this. They're still blossoming, they're still blooming, and things like that. And so I want to salute them, but also the fact that the African People Socialist Party continues the African Revolution. That's the work that we've never, ever stopped. And so, yeah, these are a few things. Comrade Jamil Alameen, I think at one point they had created a Rap Brown law because he, traveling across state lines, quote unquote, inciting a riot and things like that. Of course, this is highly unconstitutional and things like that. But African people have the right to self-determination. We have the right to national democratic rights that must be supported and defended. And InPDUM does incredible work in terms of leading that all the way through. And we've created a program by the African working class in order to win any and all who can be won to support the the Revolutionary National Democratic Program of InPDUM. And this program is given to us by the African People's Socialist Party, the vanguard of the African Revolution. Yeah, I mean, the work has not stopped. The revolution has not stopped. That's a victory. And all those who have been won already and who will be won is a victory too. We need you in this process. Yeah, anyways, Uhuru. So long live Jamil Alameen. Long live Sister Assata Shakur, Comrade Sister Assata Shakur. Long live the African martyrs. Long live the African Revolution. Death to colonialism, victory to the African Revolution. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Okay. I want to appreciate that statement. And we about to call for membership and resources. And before I kind of make myself down, a couple of points that I want to reiterate that I forgot. Invest in yourself a gauge. Invest in yourself an AR-15. Get you at least 10 clips so you can have a sustained 10-minute fight. If you're going to get it, make sure you get green tips. Green tips go through everything. I tested to see. But if you're going to have multiple guns, try to have them all in the same caliber. So when you stockpile your ammunition, you won't have to be expensive. I have 2 sniper rifles, so you make sure you get your sniper rifle. So those is a few things that I want to iterate. That you make sure you get you a gauge, you make sure you get you a handgun, you make sure you get you an AR, assault rifle, and also make sure you get you a 22 rifle. I got the King ain't gonna let me go in my bags, but the 22 rifle that is for your food. But right now, I had to get that out. Invest in ammunition, y'all. But we're gonna have our comrade come on down to the stage and we're gonna tell you how y'all can get involved. Uhuru. Fist up! Fist up! Uhuru.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Sophia, the membership coordinator here in St. Louis. And right now we're going to do a call for resources and membership. So we're looking for, if you're looking for an organization where the type of information you've heard tonight is put into action. This is maybe you want to consider this as an organization for you. If you want to support an organization doing the things that we are talking about for the community, we ask that you support us with your donations on today. Today, we're going to look at raising $100 in resources. And for those online in the building, some of us have already got a jump on you, but we'll be looking to raise $100. If you're interested in donating and providing resources so that we can implement a lot of the things that we talked about today and other things that we have going on, it helps to support the members as far as when we come together to have a space to come together and live stream to you so that you can have access to this information. Those are where your resources go. And if you would like to donate, we'll be passing a basket here in the room, but online, you can go to our Cash App, which is $InPDUM. Again, that's $InPDUM. Or you can go to InPDUM.org/donate, InPDUM.org/donate to give there. And again, our target is $100 for today. We will come back and let you know how much we've raised in total after by the conclusion of today's programming. And then for membership, if you want to be able to have, and especially like if you like what you've heard today and you want to be able to provide your input, it's an awesome opportunity for you to become a member. If you have ideas and you want to organize, but you don't have the people or the know-how, you can come here and learn those things and be a part of something better. And, you know, because one of the things, like, again, with the reason that I got involved is because I was listening to a video by John Henry Clark. What will you tell your kids that you've done for the revolution? So you want to be mindful of those things. Certain things may not take place in your time, but you want to make sure that the life that you're protecting is for your children. But again, like it was already mentioned too, we see that there are certain people that are acting similar to a cornered dog. You know, things are happening in such a way, you kind of see things happening right now that says that there is a panic or a fear that has been heightened. So you want to kind of get in organization so that you understand and have access to a plan and access to resources as far as the people. Because a lot of times we're not out there connecting on our own. Like they said, a lot of times we don't know our neighbors. We don't know the people that we're around. So you want to at least learn to get in contact with people. We're learning, especially during COVID, a lot of people learn to kind of be isolated and cut off. So we want to start getting back to meeting people. We have various levels of membership. You can come in for as little as $25 for our basic level of membership. That would be our, that's for members who are here in the communities if you want to join. But we also have student memberships, which you can get as low as $5 annually. We also have a member of and that's going to be our Musa Abantu level, which is, I'm sorry, $10 annually for students and unemployed members. So if you're unemployed and you can't really afford too much of your resources going other places than sustaining your life, then $10, we're not looking to hurt anybody's pockets, but you can get a membership there. Or if you are a student and you want to be involved in organization, then you can get our Musa Abantu level. Then we have our George Jackson Desi Woods level, which is $5, which you can sponsor on behalf of someone who is incarcerated. And with that, they will get a copy of our Burning Spear. And we really ask that you consider doing that, because even some of our regular members have come into membership through those who have been incarcerated by sending out a copy of the Burning Spear to others who were not aware. So there's ways to kind of spread the news and kind of get the word out to build the organization. And then we also have the general membership at our $25 level. So you can do that at a one-time donation for a year at $25. But then we also do have sustaining memberships where you can pay a certain fee monthly. And those are different levels. And with membership, you get like the information that you have here, you get community, you learn skills that you may not have had in terms of building organizing, as far as organizing and different things like that. So you gain those skills, but you also are able to share your skills. And no matter who you are, what your capabilities are, everybody has a skill. If you're able to walk, you have a skill. If you're able to talk and dial a phone, you have a skill. So everything that everybody in the Black community has a skill that they can use towards building freedom for our communities. So we just ask that you be a part of us. Give us a try, and I'm going to turn it back over so we can count the resources. Again, if you want to donate online, it is InPDUM.org/donate, and then our $ InPDUM if you're doing Cash App. Thank you.
One. Uhuru. I want to go into the announcement now, but do we have time for community discussion? Okay, well.
I was saying that I think it's important for this, since it's a
Okay, so our Midwest rep has spoken. So we open our mic right now for the community discussion. Uhuru? Uhuru.
So I had a couple of questions based off of some of the information that was provided today. And one of the first things, when we think about building up this community here, we heard about Black Wall Street and all of that. What is our plan for protecting this area, you know, so that they're not, and I know we heard some of it, and that's we're building with the people and things like that. Because I know, but you do have a lot of people with the mindset of not necessarily having weapons and things like that. So are we working on a plan, like a meeting spot or something like that? Certain things like that. And then also introducing, because I know I read somewhere else how important it was to have a relationship with your local farmers, so you know where to go to get food, and then learning how going to them to learn the skills that you need in order to be able to have even a small garden in your own area. So that's one question. And then the other thing I would like to find out is, as we're looking at protecting our community, what are some things that we can identify with that can bring us together on certain issues or certain things with other organizations that may be, they may have a title of being interested in liberation of Blacks, and sometimes even their ideology may differ from what ours are, but there are certain topics where we can stand strong on these things, and we know they're like, maybe it's killing of our brothers and sisters. You know, a lot of us can rally around that, especially if it's somebody that, you know, a student or something like that, where we can pull together. And then, because we already know, like Kofi always says, you know, with one finger, you can break your finger trying to hit somebody, but if you got a fist, you can hurt somebody. So thinking of it in that terms, being able to build those relationships. And then one of the things I wanted to add, when you talked about water safety, is making sure we have life straws. I don't know if that's something you what is it?
Life straw filters.
It's a filter, it's like a straw that has a filter in it, so that you drink water if the water is contaminated. But Those are the.
Uhuru. So you said a number of things. I addressed the first one, and I see our international president jumped up when you asked that second one. So I have him answer the second question. The first question is simply, yes, ma'am, we do have a plan. To answer that question, but can I put the plan out there? No, ma'am, I cannot. Yes, ma'am, but we do have a plan. Yes, ma'am. The second question, comrade.
Uhuru, yeah, I think the second question was really important in terms of how we get, even those individuals and organizations on the periphery, into the work. InPDUM had united with just recently coming out of the 40th convention of InPDUM, where we celebrated the 40th anniversary, of the creation of the People's Democratic Order Movement. Which would grow into the International People's Democratic Order Movement. We united on a resolution called the Black Community Convention, where we'll be working in our communities, with our communities, to create a Black Community Convention with the expectation coming out of that convention, we would come out of that process with a Black community agenda that everyone can be one to support, can be one to forward and things like that. So many of the issues that you were talking about, like for example, if there was a murder in the community, due to colonialism, if there are a situation of food insecurity, that's due to colonialism, if there are situations of houses, not being fixed, still not being fixed after a tornado, and so many things. It's not just like the big things, but everywhere you go, there are people have car troubles. Cars are not fixed. How are we going to resolve that as a community? We don't want to individual, have a level of make certain issue be like, oh, it's just one person. No, everyone is impacted, by that, and so we have to collectively come together. Like, for example, just recently, a few days ago, NINA, the Northside Independent Neighborhood Association, which is incredible. If you haven't joined that, join NINA, the Neighborhood Association, you should. We just had a potluck, and in that potluck, I met a brother who I was talking to, a family who I was talking to. And they were telling me about this sister that had been trying to get her car fixed, but couldn't. Every time she went to shopping things like that, they had done it all wrong. And so I raised up the question, are there like auto classes being provided in the schools where our kids can be trained up on these things in terms of how to fix a car? And all these things, and she said no.
They stopped that in the 80s.
Yeah, in other communities that around the country, schools have this auto shop. And even on the weekends, they provide free oil changes and all these kinds of things. But we can work as a community, having that part of the agenda, and yeah, all these things, and so many more. So I'm just really excited for the Black Community Convention. One of the things I haven't talked with y'all yet, that I do, it's really exciting. I do want to have this coming June, a Freedom Summer Project working on the Black Community Convention right here in St. Louis.
Uhuru.
A month long. I want folks
Uhuru.
Here in St. Louis, in the surrounding areas, and as well as InPDUM members all throughout this country coming into St. Louis, get their feet wet, get their hands, in snake style work, which is something that I've been working to, transform it into like the day-to-day work of InPDUM, going out, do door-to-door outreach, meeting people where they are, bring them into community rallies like these, but also building up our organizational capacity, and forwarding our programs, getting people actually participating in this process because they want to participate. And one of the things that's significant into that is the people must have the channels available to concretize their unity with our work, because, our work is self-determination, it's overturning colonialism. Every problem that exists, that we're confronted with as a people, is due to the assault that has been made on Africa, and the existence of this parasite, that extracts all, resource and things like that, away from us. But yeah, that's just a few things.
Uhuru. Uhuru.
Uhuru, I just wanted to appreciate this discussion and being able to open up. I didn't think about some of the things that were offered, like the black eye persons. And you know, one time thought I was getting them. But yeah, but it makes, it makes a lot of sense. And especially when I think about it, because when the tornado hit, we had no power for almost 2 weeks, I think it was. Or people had power, intermittently or whatever. So people were, using flashlights and all the other kind of stuff inside their house, but just that whole aspect of safety and really unite with, getting to know your neighbors, knowing the people, on your block, the people that live around you. Because our safety is in, in the people, that your neighbors. I mean, I've heard of incidences already of things that have happened where it was the community that came out and actually squashed the situation.
Yeah.
When people didn't even really have a clear idea what was going on, but they knew that someone was being threatened, in a certain kind of way. And in terms of the food, if you go back and listen, the last
week.
Sunday was a really great Sunday, just in terms of what we can do to start growing our food inside. I thought the presentation that was given, I think we probably have access to it, or we might be sure, if not, just go back to YouTube. It was really great, the information that the sister offers, so that we can start growing food, inside our homes. Because even if SNAP continues on and does what it's supposed to do, we need healthy food. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We need healthy food, and the fruits and vegetables that she offered were things that can help us to sustain life. So, Uhuru.
Uhuru. Uhuru. Touch one. Touch all. We know, like I said, we gotta look out for our neighbors, not just ourselves. So when they touch one, they touch all. Yeah. Don't forget to invest in earplugs. That's my last thing, KK. Don't slap me. Don't forget to invest in earplugs. If you're gonna shoot them high power rifles, I don't care if you just train it, it will blow your eardrums. So earplugs, y'all. Uhuru. Hey, give a round of applause for your sales. Give a round of applause for your sales. Because I know this week we was long-winded. We added an hour on and y'all didn't get up and walked out on us, especially me. So I appreciate it. But not only that, we was able to surpass our goal. So give it a round of applause. We raised $117, y'all. $117. So I want to appreciate y'all. Y'all never tens that amazed me. I was like, damn, okay. Yeah, Uhuru. So if we make, can we enter to the announcements? Uhuru. Okay. Uhuru, into you, heart and soul. Come on now, December 6th is fast approaching. Your fourth annual Volunteers Appreciation Party. Saturday, December 6th, 2025. Here at the Carver Hall, 4101 West Florissant, and will be held at 3 p.m. Central Time. Join us for an afternoon of celebrations, community, and gratitude. Our volunteers are truly the heart and soul of the Uhuru movement, and we are excited to honor you at our fourth annual Volunteers Appreciation Party. There will be thoughtful givebacks gifts for all volunteers, tasty bites from Uhuru Pies and Fruits. Uhuru Fruits and Pies. Sorry. And it's inspiring guest speakers, special awards, and recognitions, uplifting stories, and community connection. From planting community gardens to clearing storm debris, painting murals, supporting the radio station and up-and-coming bakery cafe, capturing moments through photograph, writing, burn a spear, community organizing, and so much more. So much more. You took a stand to support the self-determination and social justice for the African community. You made it all possible. This event is our way to say thank you. Whether you volunteer once or 100 times, we appreciate every effort. Everyone is welcome. From our volunteers to the supporters, friends, and family. Reserve your spot today by going to tinyurl.com/Heart and Soul St. Louis. And if you are joining remotely, be sure to include your email address and phone number, and we will send you the Zoom link. Uhuru? Your last chance to order your Thanksgiving pies, y'all. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for us that like our sweet potatoes, for them who like the pumpkin, and for everybody in between, we got it for you too. Your last chance right now to get your Thanksgiving pies, you're gonna order at www.uhurupies.org by the end of the day Monday. Got it? All right, y'all keep your hands to yourselves back there. Y'all keep your hands to yourselves. We are baking and selling Uhuru pies. Be part of history. We need volunteers to mix, press, and fill pies tomorrow and Tuesday at the Uhuru Bakery and Cafe. Staff pop-ups Tuesdays and Wednesdays of this week. If you want to get involved, you can talk to Ali, Ciali, or Marine, or you can sign up at the bakery by calling. I'm sorry, say it again.
Ciali.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading too fast. Talk to Ciali, deputy chair, or Marine, including Ali. Sometimes I read too fast. Y'all forgive me. But you can sign up at the bakery or call us at 800-578-5157. 800-578-5157. Mind you, reach out to Ali, Ciali, deputy chair, or Marine. The burning spear. Y'all chill out back there, please. I don't want to say it again. The burning spear. Order it today. Order it right now. At theburningspear.store or subscribe at theburningspear.com/subscribe. Go ahead and get your bundles now. It could be an economic venture for yourself. You could get a bundle and sell it, or there could be a political education moment where we could teach the people what's going on in our communities. Uhuru. Okay, each and every Thursday, our political education, what we've been going now. I think today we got on point 5 of the Revolutionary National Democratic Program that is held each and every Thursday. So please chime in at 7 p.m. on Zoom and Facebook so we can get educated, y'all. Because like I said, we go more in depth on Thursday nights. And I think, Conrad, are you teaching are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, our comrade Lukede, President Lukede, he would be teaching us on Thursday nights, and he do a swell job. So please tune in each and every Thursday at 7 p.m. And you can register at tinyurl.com/RNDP studies. Once again, register at tinyurl.com/RNDP RNDP studies. Uhuru? Uhuru. Okay. So we getting closer to food time, y'all. We need you, y'all. We need you. The revolution can't be won without the people. We need you to help build the Sunday rallies. We need you to help us grow bigger and better. And like our comrade earlier, she was telling us that we need you to join the outreach team, security, food, AV, and more. We need you to bring your skills or get trained. But most importantly, we need you to bring yourself, right? Uhuru. Participate. Somebody said, who said that? Sister Curl? There you go. Yeah, participate. Uhuru. So I want to appreciate y'all, like I said, for showing up. I want to appreciate y'all for being long-winded this time and patient. Right now, we are at the closing / caramel. Ain't y'all happy, y'all? Let's go ahead and feed our bellies. Let's go on and feed our bellies right now. If we bring our comrade up to tell us what we having. Tell us what we having. And since I know y'all tired of hearing me because I did long ringing today, I'm gonna have her. No, she gonna come up here. I'm gonna have her close us out too. That's cool? Uhuru. Fist up! Right now. Fist up! Right now. Uhuru.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and I thank you all for coming out tonight. Tonight's Caramoo is going to be chili. I'll be sending out an email or a text message to everybody for next week. I think we're going to do soups and salads, different types of soups, whether it's chili or whatever type of soups you want to do. And then salads, it can be cold salad. Well, all salads. Well, yeah, pasta salads, cold salads, whatever, leafy green salads, different things like that. So just think about that and whatever else you may want to add to that to participate. I think we have a lot to think about for today. I thank you all for the information that was provided. I think we had a really good informational. I'm loving the direction that we're going in as far as looking at protecting the community and doing all of those things. Not to say that we were not doing those things before, but actually, looking at the plan for that. So I'm looking forward to that. And so as you think about some of the stuff that was here today, when you wake up tomorrow and you go out in your neighborhoods tomorrow, just start a little small conversation with one of the neighbors that you really don't know. Start to get to know your communities. That's one of the first steps that you can start to building our communities up. So we want to thank you and appreciate all of you for tuning in and coming here in person. Yes, go ahead.
2 questions, right quick.
Go ahead.
What is that word, Karamu?
Caramel.
Caramel. And can I be the first one to get a plate?
I mean, food time.
This is like, I don't know it's feast.
Yeah.
I didn't know but I know they use it and it's one of the days of Kwanzaa, it's used in Kwanzaa as well. So yeah, but that's so feast. But I know it means eat time.
And since you put the order out, by any means, you could be the first one to get the plate.
You already
We want to appreciate you. I know our comrade, he got to hit the road one day this week, so he will not be here next Sunday. So even though I asked her to close, comrade president, do you have any last words you want to leave us with? Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru. Well, thank you for this this incredible weekend, and thank you for all the work that y'all do. And we are winning. Long live our African martyrs. They should be raised up every single chance that we, that we get, because the work continues. It continues, and until this time till it's won. So Uhuru.
Uhuru. That's it.